Baruch Hashem Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Baruch Hashem Yahushua. Shalom, family. Today I want to talk about the importance of inquiring of Yah. The importance of asking Yah for guidance. Because I don't think this is really being talked about, or maybe not really being understood. What one of the main purposes of praying is. It's to inquire of Yah, not just to ask for something, for help, or for some kind of deliverance, but a lot of our prayers should be focused on inquiring Yah what to do, asking for guidance, asking for advice on whatever issue we're facing, whatever is going on in our lives, that we should set some time aside to inquire of Yah. So we're going to go through some things, a few scriptures, so many of them, particularly in the Old Testament, where our people, children of Israel, inquired of Yah. And we'll kind of cover just a little bit, but be able to kind of add to and explain what's going on here. Okay, I want to start with scripture in Psalm 27 verse 4. Psalm 27 verse 4, which reads, "One matter I ask of Yahuah, this I seek, to dwell in the house of Yahuah all the days of my life, to see the pleasantness of Yahuah, and to inquire in his Hakal or temple," to inquire, okay, in his temple. This is real important. To inquire of Yah what to do, to get guidance, to get some kind of word from him on what your course of action should be. And we'll get into why this is important. Basically, asking Yah leads to success. Okay? I'll say it again. Asking Yah leads to success. If you want success, what Yah himself sees as success, not what man sees as success, okay? But what the Most High Yah sees as being successful, you have to inquire of him in order to achieve this, okay? Now, let's look at James 4. James 4 is important in understanding this and has some particular significance here. We're going to look at James 4, 2 and 3. Then we'll kind of go back to chapter 1. But let's take a look. It says, "You desire and do not have. You murder and are jealous and are unable to obtain. You strive and fight, and you do not possess because you do not ask." And we have to understand what's being said here, okay? And verse 3 will kind of hint on what's being said here, but it says you do not possess because you do not ask. So what kind of asking are we talking about here? First of all, you can see these people, this description of these people in verse 2, they don't have the right spirit to begin with, okay? Jealous, murdering, unable to obtain. Those with these types of spirits do not ask. They do not inquire. They don't want any guidance. That's why they live in a reckless, lawless life. And people who live a lawless life and anything goes and don't think about what the scriptures teach, they do not inquire. They don't care. Okay? And if you look at the way these people do ask in verse 3, it says you ask and do not receive, because you ask evilly, meaning your spirit is not right, in order to spend it on your pleasures. So we know what they're asking for. They're asking for money. They're asking for material things. They're not inquiring. They're not trying to get any guidance. They want something material, something carnal, and that's what they think their relationship with Yah is, carnal, material thing. Okay? That's why a lot of these pastors preach about this, all this prosperity, carnal, material things that mean nothing to Yah. Okay? And want you to focus on those types of things instead of inquiring of him how you should live today, what you should, your course of action should be to any given situation. Okay. And when you look at James, one of the main cornerstones of James, and one of the things that he was trying to get over to the people, was that we need to inquire and ask about wisdom. James 1 verse 5, if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of Elohim, who gives to all generously and without reproach, and it shall be given to him. See, wisdom is something you're going to get. If you ask for it, you'll receive that. And then with that wisdom, you will be able to obtain other things. But first, you have to have some wisdom in the scriptures, some wisdom in how to live a set apart life. And as the scripture says, you seek the kingdom of Yah first, and everything else will be added, right, unto you. Okay. So let's keep getting into this. This is important here. Yah desires us to be proactive. So we need to ask him for guidance before we make a decision. And I think a lot of people get caught up in this. They jump and make decisions on a lot of things. All right. And they have not inquired of Yah. And they just do what they think is good, what man thinks is good, what society may think is good, what your cousin, your auntie, your uncle, your grandma, your mama, or daddy might think is good, but not what the Most High Yah thinks is good. And then when situations comes upon you, then you want to pray for help after you've gotten into a situation because you didn't ask Yah. You understand? And a lot of times when you ask for wisdom, this is some of the things that's going to come upon you, because he will teach you wisdom through your lack of wisdom. Okay? You will understand it's wise to ask Yah first. Okay? And it's so important because it can mean life and death. And we'll get to that. Okay? That we have to be in a situation where we're asking Yah first. No matter what it is. We are inquiring of him. Let's look at some examples of this. Okay? Being proactive, asking Yah, and getting that success I talked about. We're going to go to 2 Samuel 5. Now, this is David or Dawid. He was good about inquiring of Yah, okay? And you see it throughout the Old Testament in various places where the people would ask Yah what they should do. And this is life or death. I mean, this is battles and with enemies who were coming against them. And when David was anointed king, the Philistines, once they heard of that, they came up against him. And you have to understand that when the Most High anoints us and sets us apart, and everyone who has been called out of the world and understands who they are and has been awakened to righteousness, the enemy is going to come against you. Okay? Philistines immediately came against David. But what did David do? He didn't just foolishly charge them or try to have a battle with them. He first inquired of Yahuah. And he asked Yahuah, he said, do I go up against the Philistines? Do you give them into my hand? And Yahuah said to Dawid, go up, for I shall certainly give the Philistines into your hand. But you see, David asked first. And the Most High Yah told him what to do. He said, go up. Go directly at them. Now, we're going to break this down a little bit because David went up against them and he defeated them. But after that, they came against him again. Okay? And let's look at this second time they came up against him. This is 2 Samuel 5, same chapter, verse 23 and 25. So the Philistines came up against him a second time. And when David inquired of Yahuah the second time and said, do I go up? Yahuah said, do not go up. Turn around behind them, and you shall come upon them in front of the mulberry trees. And it shall be when you hear the sound of stepping in the tops of the mulberry trees, then act promptly. For then Yahuah shall go out before you and strike the camp of the Philistines. And Dawid did so, and Yahuah commanded him, and smote the Philistines from Geba as far as Gezer. Okay, so you have the same group coming against him, And David inquired, but you had a totally different response. What is this telling us? Why did Yah show us this? Because you may have a similar situation come upon you, and the Most High Yah may tell you to do something different each time. That's why it's so important to inquire of Him. It may not be the same solution to the same problem. It may be totally different. Because Yah wants to show you He can handle a situation in a multitude of ways. He can use man, or He doesn't have to use man. He'll come with something you didn't even know He would come with. But you have to ask Him what to do. How do I handle this when you are faced with financial situations? Don't try to go get a loan. Ask Most High Yah what to do. These payday loans, this title loans, all these things we get caught into. And if you read the scriptures in Deuteronomy 28, you see that loans are curses. One of the curses against us saying that we will borrow. Not lend, but we'll borrow. So it means loans are curses, but people run to those things. You know, you get $1,000, you have to pay $2,000 back. Things like that. And you wind up in trouble instead of saying, you know what? I don't care what it looks, I'm going to stop. And I'm going to inquire the Most High Yah, what do I do? How do I handle this? You have to ask Him. And just because you faced a similar situation before, it doesn't mean you're going to have the same solution. So don't just do something you did before saying it worked the first time. Ask the Most High Yah, He'll come with a different perspective on it. He may tell you to do something totally different than He told you to do the first time. And I've had many examples of that in my life where He may tell me to be quiet, don't take action. If somebody comes against me one way, and He'll come the same way later, and He tells me to take action and do a certain thing. But it's all about His timing, all about what He wants you to do, because we have to remember that the circumstances we face, He orchestrates them. Okay? He orchestrates them to get out of us what He desires. So He has to be a part of this, okay? We have to inquire of Him, and many of us aren't doing that. We are coming to Him after the fact. So we're not getting that full success. We're not getting that. We're kind of learning on the rough side of this thing. Instead of saying, you know what, I'm going to ask Yah first. I'm not going to jump to any quick decisions. I'm going to inquire the Most High Yah, as our forefathers did, as the scriptures teach us, so I can have that success that He wants me to have. You know what this means to you and in your life. So you have to say, wait a minute, have I been inquiring of Yah? Or have I just been doing my own thing and coming to Him later? Okay? So this is really important if we want to have that success, that proactive inquiring and asking for guidance that many of us are not doing. Okay? And we'll get into why this is so important, because just as I said, inquiring of Yah ensures success. If you don't inquire of Yah, He will get angry. There are times where He will, depending on the situation, deal with you harshly. Okay? And we're going to go in 2 Kings chapter 1, verse 2 through 4. This is the king of Israel. Okay? Ahazjah, or Ahazyahu. And he was wicked, but he had an accident where he fell from his upper room down to a lower room and was injured, seriously injured. Instead of him inquiring of Yah, okay, he wanted to send his messengers to go and find Beelzebub. Okay, and we'll get into that verse 2 through 4. It says, Ahazjah, or Ahazyahu, fell through the lattice of his upper room in Shomron and was injured, and sent messengers and said to them, go inquire of Beelzebub, the mighty one of Ekron, if I shall recover from this injury. But the messenger of Yahuah spoke to Eliah the Tishbite, rise up, go up to meet the messengers of the sovereign of Shomron, and say to them, is it because there is no Elohim in Israel that you are going to inquire of Beelzebub, the mighty one of Ekron? So therefore, thus saith Yahuah, you are not going to get out of the bed which you have gone up, for you shall certainly die. So he basically brought a death sentence on himself by not inquiring of Yah. He wanted to inquire of Beelzebub. And too many of us fall into this trap. And what I mean by that, you have people running with things people have told them. They're inquiring of man. What is this Bible saying to us? Especially, if you wake up to who you are. You go to these so-called prophets and teachers and priests, and they're telling you all this stuff. And you're just running with it. You're not inquiring of Yah. Is this right? Should I do this? Teach me, Yah. What does this Bible say? Lead and guide me. I'm inquiring of you. No one stops to do that. They just run with what somebody told them because it sounds good. Show them a few scriptures that they don't understand and teaching other people this, and they're running with it. And they're trying to teach others things that maybe half true, but not seeing the full picture because the Ruach HaKodesh, or the Spirit of Yah, is not with them. But they don't inquire. And you know what happens when you do that? You shall certainly die. Spiritually, you out here believing all this stuff and trying to conform yourself to something for an appearance, for something outwardly, and have nothing going on inwardly. The spiritual, the power of righteousness inside of you is all an outward show, and there's nothing righteous going on inwardly. And you have people who are street people, doing the street thing. And I just mean that worldly street attitude, okay? Handling things themselves, handling things. I've had brothers attack me just going off, just cussing me out and everything. Because that's how they handle things in the world. And then they wake up to who they are and they still handle things the same old way. No righteousness was involved. I'm the same man. I just got a knowledge of maybe who I am. But I'm still going to handle issues the same way. I'm going to cuss you out if I don't like what you said. I'm going to show you something. If you cross me, if you do something I don't like, I may throw hands. I'm going to threaten you. I'm going to do all this old worldly street stuff. Instead of saying, let me inquire of Yah, how am I supposed to be living here? How am I supposed to handle things? Who fights my battles for me? Okay? How am I supposed to be even trying to teach anybody? What kind of spirit should I have when I'm doing this? Should I believe everything these people are telling me? Do they even know what they're talking about? Should I let anger and rage and bitterness and hatred take over and be what I'm pushing? Or should I push righteousness and the fact that we got to serve Most High Yah? And anything that's going on in our lives, anything that come upon us, we did it to ourselves through disobedience. And so we need to change our wicked ways instead of worrying about what somebody else doing or what somebody else gonna get. Let's worry about what we're gonna get if we don't get right. You will certainly die if you just requiring of man and not testing the spirit, as the scriptures say, or inquiring of Yah. Is this right? Should I do this? Like I always say, pray. Even the things I'm telling you, don't just believe me. Inquire of Yah. But there's people there, if you don't believe them, boy, they give you a piece of their mind, okay? To the point of threatening violence. What kind of spirit is that? And we have to inquire of the Most High Yah. How should we be living here? Because the way our forefathers did it didn't work. Because if it would have, we wouldn't have been under all the curses we were under, and none of these things would have happened to us. Then we have to inquire, people, what does Yah want us to do? What does he want you to do? Do you know? Have you asked him? Or are you too busy asking for some money to pay some bills? Or can I get this job? Or, fix this situation for me or fix that over here for me? Do you put all that aside and say, lead and guide me on how to live set apart? Show me how to have some wisdom to handle these situations. Show me the answer, Most High Yah. I need the answer. I know I can do it with your help. I'm inquiring of you. Did we take time out to do that? Because we can see here you have success when you do this, and Most High Yah will answer you. This is what he wants. But you can't be sitting up here thinking you know it all. Just because somebody told you something and showed you a few scriptures, and you go running with that instead of inquiring some stuff. Most High Yah, is this the right way? Is this what this means? Okay. Am I supposed to just throw away a whole half of a book Should I do that? I mean, even the Most High Yah wanted you to throw away the New Testament, for example. Did you ask him? Or you just throwing it away because somebody told you to throw it away? Huh? Think about this. Are you just making decisions based on what somebody's telling you just because it sounds good? Or did you ask Most High Yah himself and get some guidance, as they did in the Old Testament, as in the New? Praying, asking, fasting, whatever you need to do to get that guidance. So this is life or death, people. We talking about spiritual awakening here, that's gonna deliver us from so much wickedness that is to come and protect us. You can't play with that just because some man said something and a bunch of people believe it. Then you have to say, I'm gonna inquire Yah myself and let him lead me. And if he says do it, then good. But if not, if I need to do some more reading, some more digging, some more examination, then I'm gonna do that. I'm not just gonna run with something, because we all want to live. We want to live. We want to make it through this. Because some perilous times are here, and perilous times are coming, and we are in that time. This is the time to start inquiring. Most High Yah, what should I be doing? What do you want me to do? Please lead and guide me. Lead and guide me. Show me the truth, so I won't be too far left or too far right. That I'll have what I need and I can build on it. Because you can't build on stuff if you already started off on the wrong foot. Okay? Because when you got things right enough to live a set apart life, people gonna think you're crazy. Even when, you know. So if you're out here and you're too far left or too far right, they're really gonna think you're gone. And you got folks scaring people away from this truth because of the way they're behaving. Because nobody's inquiring. They just going with somebody telling them what a man say. So, you know, the Rock knows who he's talking to with this particular lesson, but you think about it. Stop for a minute and inquire the Most High Yah. Because it's the only way we're going to make it in these last days. It's the only way we're going to have the success that we need to have. Hallelujah. And may Yah add a blessing to his word.